They're combining, making the most of the dry spell of weather we're having. But it's only going to last a couple of days, and then rain's forecasted to come back in again at the weekend. And it's quite breezy today here at Eakling, so I thought I'll come and have a look along this hedgerow here, on the lee of the hedgerow, and see if you can find anything. I'm sure that there'll be quite a few Red Admirals along here, because Red Admirals have been everywhere you go in Nottinghamshire for the last fortnight. So I've got half an hour to an hour. We'll see if this hedgerow can entertain me. This is very much a typical Nottinghamshire hedgerow, certainly here in the Eakling area. It's very reminiscent of all the hedges. Mostly hawthorn, few stands of elder, and in this particular hedgerow quite a lot of ivy. It's a great spot this for late summer and autumn insect watching, and that applies to early August, because this stretch of hedgerow is home to numerous Red Admirals and numerous Holly Blues, both butterflies having brilliant years in 2023. And I would say that 2023 is certainly the best year I've known for Red Admirals. There are lots, and a lot started to emerge about a fortnight or so ago. And I've been watching on this hedgerow 7 or 8 Holly Blues along this entire hedgerow, and several females, and I've been watching a female laying on the buds, the developing flower buds of ivy. Now I expected them to be laid on these upper reaches. In fact, there's a male that's just flitted onto the ivy there, but the female has chose to lay right down at the bottom where this male Holly Blue is now, if it's in shot, and she's gone below the line of the nettles. These nettles have been cut down once, which is why they're so lush and new and short-lived, and not up here. They're being utilised by, say, about 3 or 4 female Red Admirals, which are egg-laying profusely along here. It's something quite remarkable. And you can see why I love this butterfly when you get flashes of colour like that. As with all nymphalids, tremendously powerful large thoraxes in terms of butterflies, equipped with powerful flight muscles. These are very strong long distance flyers, similarly in the same way as the painted lady is. They're built for travel. It's helped here that we've lost the sun for a minute or two as it goes behind a cumulus cloud, and that's enabled an extremely close approach from the camera to the head and the eyes of the butterfly. It's little more than 4 or 5 inches. Beautifully marked, very different underneath to above, to the upper side. More cryptic markings on those hind wings. Quite often you get butterflies like this Red Admiral in your garden during the late summer and in the autumn. On an evening they will go to roost on the house walls, tucked up underneath a window ledge or guttering. They like to spend the night in such a situation Now I have featured looking for Red Admiral larvae before on this channel. In fact, it probably would be about this time last year when a few Red Admirals were starting to move through, and they are very easy to find, and I'm right at the side of a caterpillar now. Now, while my left arm here gets severely nettled in the course of bringing this video to you, this is what you need to look for. These are the signs for Red Admiral larvae. I'll show you quickly with this one here. Nettles don't always sting you, but the larva, once it gets into a couple of instars, eventually constructs a tent for itself, a safe home protected from the worst of the weather. And what it does, it brings these edges of the leaves together and fastens them with silk. So in effect you will see something like that, but the caterpillar uses this as a shelter and then feeds on this lower part of the leaf, and eventually it becomes puckered up. What it also does as well, and this is a clear sign, these become extremely obvious because the caterpillar bites part of the way through the leaf petiole. That cuts off a great deal of supply of moisture to the leaves, so the leaves almost start to wilt, and that's obvious by these here. But there's also an earlier tent-like construction just here, and these are what you need to look for. And you can see how obvious these are, and there will be two, often three, on one particular stem, unless the caterpillar moves because of the density at which the nettles are growing at. But we'll have a look in this one and open this one up, and this one you see has been vacated. What they do, they make fresh ones, certainly for every molt, but usually as they eat a section of the leaf. But you can see on both these how they've been eaten through the stem, so the leaf bends over. But this one here is an absolute classic example, and this is the one which is housing the caterpillar. If I take hold of this and hold of that, and there inside is about a third or fourth instar Red Admiral caterpillar. Sights like this are brilliant. In fact, there's a bit of wych elm here in which you may well see a common butterfly flitting around, and that's actually laying eggs on wych elm. It's just deposited one quite high up, but there is a common larva which I can show you now. Whenever you see damage like this, usually on one or two leaves, if you turn those leaves over, there's a good chance you will find this underneath. And this is one of our nicest caterpillars. This is the caterpillar of the common butterfly. It's an absolute belter of a caterpillar, this. A cracking thing. So it's something you can go out and look for now if you live in the UK. Look along woodland rides or at the base of hedgerows. And at the moment we've got, in a similar situation to Red Admirals, we've got comma eggs being laid now by the second brood Hutchinsoni commas, and we have these adult, almost adult caterpillars. Well, it's entertained me for an hour, this hedge. Might not look much, and now we're into August. Everywhere looks scruffy this time of year in the UK, but there are things to be found, and today it's been butterflies. Good numbers of Holly Blues. They're having a bumpy year. You can expect a crash in the numbers of Holly Blues due to parasitisation probably next year, but that's quite normal for Holly Blues. It goes through periods of abundance and then gets heavily parasitised and becomes quite a rare butterfly to find in poor years, and then the numbers gradually build up again. Red Admirals, what a year this is for Red Admirals, and it's, in my view, nothing to do with climate change. The only aspect of climate change which has probably altered the status of the Red Admiral in Nottinghamshire and the UK is the fact that we have much milder winters now, and that's obviously suiting Red Admirals, and for a couple of decades now they've been able to overwinter in the UK quite successfully, and for many people it's probably the first butterfly that they'll see early in any given year now, such as the change in fortunes for the Red Admiral. But to put these large numbers down to climate change is quite frankly just scaremongering in my book. It's just having an excellent year. If the large numbers of the Red Admiral were down to the hot weather in the continent and climate change, it wouldn't just be the Red Admiral that's in the UK in high numbers at the moment. It would be a whole range of species. Certainly painted ladies is one, clouded yellows we would expect, but also a number of moths as well that migrate to the UK from the continent. And none of those others have really turned up, apart from a few painted ladies. It'd be interesting to see how many of those go through during late August and early September, when I'll be up the hill where they're combining now. But to say that it's down to climate change is wrong in my book. It's just having a year of abundance. But there's other species as well, commas along here, and all the whites and speckled woods. It passes an hour on quite easily and very nicely, and it's nice to be able to show you the Red Admiral caterpillars as well. That was a speckled wood that's just flown by me, but there's no sign of migration, and that was the reason why I came today, but it's too breezy for that, hence me walking along here in the lee of this hedge to keep out of that nagging northwesterly breeze. It's just a shame it couldn't have took away some of the sounds of the combine harvester, but you have to accept that the sound of a combine harvester is very much a sound of a UK summer.